doing something that I had said I wasn't going to do, but I got a specific request for it. So, Pixel Cutter, I am doing the entirety of Demons of Chaos because I guess in fantasy there is not a distinction in lore between one demon to another. I don't know if there is in 40k, so Pixel Cutter, if that's what you were looking for, I will certainly do that when I get to 40k. But anyways, let's start in on the Demons of Chaos. Far beyond the boundaries of the mortal world lies an impossible domain of magic and dark wonder. This is a nightmare-scape of desire, hatred, whimsy, and terror. Here, no physical laws apply, save for those enforced by the creatures that live within its bounds. This is the realm of chaos, dwelling place of the dark gods and the demons of chaos. None can say how long the realm of chaos has endured, for time has little purchase on this damnable kingdom. It may be that it is as old as history itself, formed even before the stars blazed to life and the world itself was created. They're missing a word there. Yet the realm of chaos and all its dire minions are the hopes and fears of living creatures made manifest. So how could it exist before sentient races arose? In the end, it matters little how the chaos gods came to be. It matters only that they exist, and that they are hungry for the souls of mortals. There are 4 chaos gods: wrathful Khorne, devious Tzeentch, pestilential Nurgle, and cruel Slaanesh. They are jealous and prideful deities. Each believes himself destined to be the supreme ruler of all existence, and constantly strives to wrest control of the realm of chaos from his dark brothers. Yet the gods seldom lower themselves to direct confrontation. Such is the business of minions, not omnipotent masters. Thus can each god call upon mighty armies of demons to do battle in his name. The demonic hosts. Just as the chaos gods are beings of magic, so too are their demonic servants. Each demon is a splinter of his divine master, a distorted reflection of mortal yearning, a shard of emotion and dark desire given form and license to destroy. Thus does every demon reflect something of his master's presence and personality. Demons of Khorne are muscled and brutal, driven to slaughter and murder, whilst those that serve Tzeentch are whimsical and devious, shunning physical combat in favor of the sorcery that Khorne detests so. Nurgle's demons are by far the hardiest of their kind, if somewhat moribund in thought and deed, while Slaaneshi demons are lithe and whip-quick, as delicate in form as they are vicious in temperament. Regardless of form, demons are unnaturally resilient, able to shrug off blows that would tear another creature asunder. Indeed, a demon cannot truly be slain. Its physical body can be destroyed, true enough, but this merely banishes the demon's spirit into the swirling wellspring of magical energy known as the Forge of Souls. Thus vanquished, the demon embarks on the process of creating a new body to inhabit, and dreams of vengeance against those that humbled it so. Though they might share many characteristics, no 2 demons are entirely alike. All the infinite variety that chaos commands can be found amongst the warriors of demonic hosts. Many demons sport extra appendages and sorcelled weapons or other, even odder powers that are the envy, or sometimes the pity, of their peers. Such oddities are bestowed by the demon's patron in celebration of glorious service, or in punishment for ignominious failure. It is not always possible to tell one from the other. The chaos gods are normally just as inattentive of the deeds of their demons, as they are of those mortals who court their favor. Thusly, their low attention span can sometimes lead to the elevation of thoroughly undeserving minions, or the unjust punishment of their mightiest servants. As demons are twisted parodies of mortal creatures, so too do their armies mirror those of the material planes. The largest of the demonic hosts are led by greater demons, monstrous avatars of the dark gods, whose might far eclipses that of any mortal warlord. Their foot soldiers are the lesser demons, unnatural mockeries of mortal warriors that march under tattered and foreboding banners, or guide their snarling war beasts and hell-forged chariots crashing into the enemy ranks. The Chaos Gods constantly war for control of all that is, and the power of each and his demonic hosts rises and falls according to his success in this great game. These contests are fought with little quarter and no convention. Any tactic, any artifice, and any underhanded ploy is fair game. Thus are alliances frequent and shifting, and betrayal is commonplace. Yet, however much the Chaos Gods might squabble and vie amongst themselves, there is one cause in which they stand united: the damnation of the mortal realm and all who dwell within it. In pursuit of this objective, all four of the ruinous powers stand shoulder to shoulder, though each ever has one eye upon his brother, their minions marching forth as one to overwhelm the piteous defenders of the mortal realms. Only when victory is within their grasp do the dark gods fall to fighting amongst themselves once again, each seeking to claim rule of the conquered lands. Demons that moments before battled side by side against a common foe set their blades, spells, and fangs against one another without hesitation. Such is the ferocity of the ensuing conflict that the gains of the gods united are swiftly bled away by the struggles of gods divided. A landscape that roiled and writhed with dark sorcery can return almost to normal in a matter of hours as the battling hordes consume the magical lifeblood to fuel their struggles. And without magic to sustain them, the demons are inevitably sucked back into the realm of chaos. Thus is the mortal world preserved from ultimate destruction, not through valor or strength at arms, but through the same godly greed that provoked the initial onslaught. This is of little comfort to those beings whose lands have been ravaged. Whether through scholarly lore or primitive superstition, they know it is only a matter of time before the dark gods unite once more, and the demons of chaos walk the mortal world once again. The Realm of Chaos. The Realm of Chaos is a place of dreams and nightmares, where cause need not follow effect. Within its bounds, anything is possible. Here, there are no physical laws akin to those that dominate the mortal world. Within its confines, hopes and fears become real, and reality is reborn as fevered hallucination. Gravity, shape, space, and reason, all are in flux and utterly mutable to the will of the Chaos Gods. Few mortals are capable of perceiving the realm of chaos in its true splendor, for the living mind recoils from its otherworldly landscapes. Thus, no two visions of the realm of chaos are exactly alike, and are often contradictory. The dark gods of chaos each have their own particular spheres of influence, their own demonic servants, and their own territories. Yet the realm of chaos is not merely the home of the dark gods, it is also their battlefield, the arena for a great game of supremacy. The brothers are constantly at war with one another, vying for power amid the plains. Despite their myriad differences, the Chaos Gods share a common goal: total domination of all that is. But such absolute power cannot be shared even amongst gods. So it is that this particular world is burdened by constant wars of attrition. Vast demonic armies swarm across crystal plains, venomous forests, bone-choked swampland, and rivers of churning gore, battling to the death to claim and counterclaim territory and the magical lifeblood that goes with it. In the realm of chaos, where magic is the stuff of being, the breadth of a domain is not merely a symbol of power, it is indeed power itself. As the minions of one god seize advantage, captured territory is molded to the whims of its new master. If Khorne overruns a portion of Nurgle's festering garden, a diseased foliage swiftly decays down to nothing, leaving only ruddy wasteland. Similarly, should Tzeentch manage to wrest the same territory from Khorne, crystalline structures burst forth from the parched firmament. Alliances in this eternal war are complex, but far from unknown. In fact, the dark gods often seek advantage through common cause. Though Khorne is the greatest of the brothers, he is not all-powerful. Tzeentch is his closest rival, but if the circumstances are right, then Nurgle, and sometimes Slaanesh, can rise to be his equal or eclipse him entirely. As if this were not complicated enough, there are deep-seated rivalries amongst the gods that can further influence matters. Khorne most despises Slaanesh, whose dark designs are an affront to the blood god's sense of honor and martial pride. Similarly, Tzeentch and Nurgle, respectively the manifestations of hope and despair, need little spurring to come to blows. Each god strives for dominance over the others, and though one may gain ascendancy for a while, no god has yet succeeded in vanquishing another. As one god gains mastery, the others combine against him, and as the allies grow in power, they divide, forming new pacts of necessity until another conqueror emerges to be vanquished in his turn. The Blood God's domain. The largest of the kingdoms in the realm of chaos is that of Khorne, the god of battle. No subtlety has Khorne. He has no yearning for beauty of form in his black heart, for he is the blood god, the skull taker. His immortal frame has room only for rage and slaughterlust. So it is that the land of the blood god is one of constant battle and martial challenge. It serves no other function for to Khorne all else is trivial. The blood god's dominion is little more than league upon league of blasted wasteland, made ruddy by the blood spilt upon it. Here and there, jagged canyons and craters break the uneven ground, the aftermath of a titanic clash where Khorne's demonic servants battled amongst themselves or against the minions of another deity. On rare occasions, Khorne will bring mortal champions to this place and test their fighting skills. Few such contestants end in victory, for the mortal. But those fleshlings who endure find their feet set up on the path to demonhood, whether it is their wish or no. The very fabric of Khorne's kingdom is tied to his mood, which, while never good, ranges between simmering rage and apocalyptic fury. When the blood god bellows his rage, the barren ground tremors, lakes of blood boil, and the very sky screams. Clouds of black ash belch forth from hidden geysers, incinerating, milling combatants, or propelling great boulders skyward. Yet still the demons battle. They fight not for honor, not for wealth, not even for victory. They fight for fighting's sake, and for the favor of their wrathful lord. The Skull Throne. Towering over the ageless desolation of Khorne's realm is the blood god's brass citadel. The walls of this unholy bastion are jagged, thick with crusted blood, and hung with gibbets and gallows. The moat of the brass citadel is filled not with water, but with the boiling blood of Khorne's victims. Iron gargoyles snarl from every parapet, hatred flashing in their eyes and molten metal boiling in their bellies. Flesh hounds prowl the space between the outer walls and the keep, gnawing at ancient bones and longing for fresh meat. Khorne himself dwells within a great vault at the black heart of the citadel's central keep. 8 iron pillars vanish into the ebon gloom to shoulder the inconceivable weight of the throne room ceiling. Each pillar is inscribed with one of the commandments of Khorne, edicts that speak to the unholy virtues of rage, martial skill, and defiance. In the center of the room, the blood god sits upon a mighty throne of brass rooted atop a vast mountain of skulls. Khorne's Khorne's armor-clad body is broad and muscular, his visage that of a fierce and snarling dog with ravaged lips. When the blood god speaks, he does so in bellows of black rage, each guttural syllable igniting the air in tainted sparks. Upon Khorne's fingers are many brass rings. Most are blazoned with his own jagged skull rune. Upon others are mounted the severed heads of lesser gods claimed, it is to be said, in personal combat. What being would dare face the blood god in the arena of martial prowess remains a mystery, so the provenance of these other rings is unknown. At Khorne's side is a mighty double-handed sword. Legend tells that the drawing of this dolorous weapon is the harbinger of great calamity, and that Khorne could split existence asunder with but a single stroke were it his desire. Elsewhere, in the citadel, mighty armories are stocked with every weapon imaginable, from cruel-bladed daggers and serrated dirks, to fell-steel halberds and ornate cannons. Yet for reasons long since forgotten to mortals, Khorne always favors this one sword, and abides no other blade. At the foot of the throne, a carpet of splintered bone extends in all directions, the remains of those slain by the blood god's conquering champions. Further distant, in the shadow of the chamber's eaves, lies a mighty anvil, where furnace demons forge weapons and armor for the blood god's favored followers, great warriors and mighty war leaders, who kill for that which they desire. Here also lurks the great hound, Karanak, a massive three-headed demon beast, who prowls tirelessly about the cavernous throne room. In the very direst of need, when his armies are overwhelmed and his citadel beset, Khorne rises from his throne, his armored footfalls shaking the realm of chaos to its core. With an honor guard of bloodthirsters, each with the power of an army in its own right, the Lord of Battle unleashes his full rage, scattering the demons of his rivals with each sweep of his mighty blade, and trampling their broken bodies underfoot. Such willingness to take physical participation in the great game is what marks Khorne out from his fellow gods. Even so, his personal interventions are rare indeed, and so each calamitous occasion marks a turning of the tide in the wars of the gods. The realm of the sorcerer. Almost as great in scale as Khorne's domain is the crystal labyrinth of Tzeentch, an iridescent plateau whose brilliance sits in stark contrast to the blood god's wastelands. Whilst the crystal labyrinth is not so massive as Khorne's kingdom, it dominates the realm of chaos no less. Countless glittering pathways spring from the very heart of the labyrinth, fractal filaments that inveigle their way into the dominions of other gods and so bind the realm of chaos together. If any of you know what the word inveigle means, Inveigle, could you leave a comment, because I am baffled. No demons guard the crystal labyrinth, yet a journey through it remains perilous nonetheless. Only the strong-willed can negotiate its countless corridors, for the maze's walls reflect not only light, but also hope, despair, dreams, madness, and terror. As if this were not challenge enough, there is no fixed path through, merely a constantly changing series of obstacles and traps created by Tzeentch's unconscious mind. Those trammeled by the labyrinth come to no physical harm, yet no one can escape these halls of infinite possibility with sanity intact. At every step the air is thick with broken dreams, and everywhere the light sparkles with fragments of shattered personality. The impossible fortress. At the heart of the labyrinth, safe from all the insane, is the impossible fortress of Tzeentch. As with all of Tzeentch's designs, the exact appearance of the impossible fortress varies according to the nature of the beholder's aspirations. Some perceive it to be crafted from the same crystal as the labyrinth, whilst others see walls of blue flame or gnarled azure stone. No matter the material, the physical structure of the impossible fortress is in constant flux. Spires and towers constantly writhe and burst forth from the fortress's heart, only to collapse and be reabsorbed moments later. Gateways, windows, and other portals appear in the eldritch building's flanks, only to fold inwards once more. There is no discernible pattern to this behavior, for the writhing shape of the impossible fortress is somehow bound to the state of Tzeentch's current schemes, and there can be no predicting such complexity. The innards of the impossible fortress are no less confounding than the exterior. Different passages and rooms obey different physical laws. That which is decreed by gravity to be up in one chamber may be down in another, or can indeed be an alternate state of being entirely, such as sorrow or the past. Were a mortal to find himself in the impossible fortress, he would not live long before being driven completely mad. But then, what else is to be expected in a place where a man can travel backwards in time by walking across a room? Those who succumb to the warping nature of Tzeentch's palace collapse utterly in an implosion of consciousness and form. Such creatures are reborn as sorcerous familiars and given as gifts to Tzeentch's champions in the mortal world. Even demons cannot easily endure the twisted horror of the impossible fortress. Only the Lords of Change can safely navigate its corridors. As a result, no matter how distracted Tzeentch may be by the great game, he is never assailed in his stronghold. The other Chaos Gods have lost too many minions just trying to get beyond the first perplexing room, and invaders must negotiate 100 or more such chambers to come before the hidden library and Tzeentch himself. The Changer of Ways. Tzeentch is the most weirdly formed of all his brothers. His skin crawls with constant changing faces that leer and mock those who dare look upon him. These changeling faces are forever in flux, appearing and disappearing in a tide of expression that sweeps across the god's peculiar form. Tzeentch's puckered face is formed upon his upper torso, so his head and body are one. From above, Tzeentch's eyes spring two sweeping horns, the spiraling extremities of which crackle with arcane fire. Tzeentch is the changer of the ways, weaver of all fates, the great conspirator, the architect of the fate of the universe. He takes great delight in the plotting and politicking of others, and favors the cunning over the strong, the manipulative over the violent. None of Tzeentch's schemes are simple, and indeed often appear contradictory. Whilst he is not above sullying his hands with the blood of war, Tzeentch prefers to win his battles through guile and devastating sorcery rather than brute force. The Changer of Ways perceives every event and intention, and from this information his incomprehensible mind can determine how each and every strand will serve to influence the future. Thus, Tzeentch's plans reach through time and space, and can carry through untold centuries without fulfillment. For Tzeentch, scheming is not a means to an end, it is an end in and of itself. Occupied as he is with weighty schemes, the great sorcerer is not inclined to any form of undue motion. He has minions to attend to such minor concerns. Tzeentch can pass countless centuries at a time seated in a sea of swirling, multicolored mist, scrying the well of eternity's abyssal depths, and examining every flicker in its shimmering surface for clues to events that have yet to pass. Much of his attention is focused upon the mortal world. Of all the Chaos Gods, it is Tzeentch who is the most fascinated by this other realm. Nevertheless, the hidden library is never quiet nor still, though there is about it a certain ethereal tranquility. As the great conspirator contemplates infinity, feathered Lords of Change bind spells and magical utterances of all kinds within fiery domes. Elsewhere, pink horrors scuttle to sculpt the impossible fortress, using their magics to redirect its structure as they await the next phase of Tzeentch's great plan. In Tzeentch's eyes, mortal creatures are immeasurably steeped in deceit and ambiguity, yet somehow live their daily lives practically unaware of their countless contradictions and hypocrisies, and the blemishes upon their souls. To the great conspirator, such a playground presents an irresistible lure and challenge. Unsurprisingly, Tzeentch cannot help but dabble in the mortal realm, sometimes as part of the great game against his brother gods, but more often just to satisfy his own instinctive urge to meddle, manipulate, and control. It is entirely possible that the great conspirator is completely and utterly mad, conjuring schemes that are self-defeating in worlds and dreamscapes that only he can perceive. This would be the most horrifying truth of all, for if Tzeentch is mad, then what is the mortal world save for an expression of his insanity? The Dark Prince's Realm. Oh, hold on. I feel like something's missing. Oh, yes. It is. We are missing the Nurgle page. So, here's what we're going to do. We are going to finish up with Slaanesh, and then the next video we are going to talk about Nurgle. I don't know why this PDF is missing page 11, but here we are. The Dark Prince's Realm. The final domain in the realm of chaos belongs to Slaanesh, the decadent Dark Prince of Chaos. Slaanesh's realm is the smallest corner of the infernal regions, for he is the youngest of the Chaos Gods, and as yet his power is much overshadowed by his brothers, the Circles of Seduction. The Dark Prince's realm is divided into 6 different domains, arranged in concentric rings around Slaanesh's Palace of Pleasure. This domain is commonly thought a paradise by the mortal souls lured here. But nothing is precisely what it seems. Each region is formed around one of the 6 deadly seductions: avidity, gluttony, carnality, paramountcy, vainglory, and indolency. These circles are not only a continuous celebration of Slaanesh's needs and desires, but also of his chief defense. An intruder must pass through each of the 6 circles in turn before reaching the palace within, an act of which that few souls, mortal or demonic, can perform. As one moves from circle to circle, the desire to succumb becomes increasingly overwhelming. Once mortals have sampled the pleasures of Slaanesh's realm, they cannot stop. Compelled towards excess, they think nothing of the consequences, only of the pleasure that indulgence brings. Some, much too late, discover the trap that has been set for them, but this matters not to Slaanesh, who finds moans of ecstasy or cries of horror equally satisfactory, providing they are heartfelt. The circle of avidity forms the outermost boundary of Slaanesh's domain. The temptations within its borders seek to awaken an interloper's sense of greed. Gold is here, ingots and coins beyond counting. Precious stones are sunk deep into every wall, and gilded sculptures line every path. All who attempt to seize this wealth are doomed. The gemstones hatch demonic birthlings that burrow beneath the skin and eat their victims from inside to out. To lay but a finger upon Slaanesh's statuary is to join it. Your consciousness rendered immortal, but forever trapped in an immobile golden body. Should greed not ensnare, then the next circle is that of gluttony, with sumptuous banquets and rivers of wine. A single taste reduces the imbiber to a bloated fool whose only desire is to gorge, until his tortured body gives way under the strain. Beyond the circle of gluttony lies that of carnality, a debauched place where all manner of fleshy pleasures may be sampled. Lithesome maidens walk the verdant fields, their face and form seemingly sprung from heart's dearest desire. Yet to tryst with such a creature is pure folly, for there are clawed hands and serpent's teeth beneath the glamour, and an appetite for fleshy pleasures of a different sort. Upon entering the next circle, the traveler is greeted by the roar of an adulating crowd, for this is the circle of paramountcy, where intruders are tempted with power and all its application. Armies, their numbers so great as to blacken the plains, greet those of martial bent, whilst the politically minded are also met in kind, with nations to guide and vassals to rule. For any traveler with a desire for personal power within his heart, this is a paradise of sorts for a time, a place where every whim is obeyed and every command fulfilled. Yet to tarry within this circle is to be overcome with paranoia, to see a dagger beneath every smile, and poison in every chalice. The cheering throng becomes a torturous and inescapable prison. The circle of vainglory is a garden, its maze of paths thick with beautiful flowers and heavy with thorns. Here, unseen voices whisper reminders of past glories, of achievements great and small. For most deadly of all is the remembrance of circles conquered and temptations unheeded. Each step an intruder takes with pride in his heart leads him further from his path, drawing him deeper and deeper into the choked undergrowth. There he swiftly falls prey to the tearing briars and roots, whilst the chanting thorn children of the garden weave his every failure into a mocking epitaph. Last, and most dangerous, is the circle of indolency, a serene domain of heavenly choirs and perfumed seas. All within this circle, whether root and branch or stalk and stone, works to lull the mind and senses. A single draught of the ambrosial waters can rob a mortal of purpose and will. To sleep here is to never again awaken. The lone and level sands that crunch underfoot are the desiccated husks of all those who have succumbed, and the ethereal voices are their souls in torment. If this final and most insidious of circles is traversed, then a traveler can finally ascend to the seat of Slaanesh's power. Slaanesh does not have a stronghold as such, merely a luxurious palace, wherein his demonic followers pay court. This shimmering Alcazar haunts the dreams and nightmares of mortals in a way that no other place can. It is said that contests in every manner of excess are to be found within the palace, and its fleshy walls pulse to rhythms within. These debauched competitions occur in 6 great halls, each cavernous chamber devoted to one of the 6 deadly seductions of Slaanesh. Such are the incredible depths to which these earthly sins are pursued that their practitioners pass beyond pleasure into torments so terrible that only the truest devotees of Slaanesh can take joy in them. The Prince of Chaos. Of all the dark gods, Slaanesh alone is divinely glamorous, long-limbed and elegant with a haunting androgynous beauty. It is impossible for a mortal to look upon that divine face without losing his soul, for all who see Slaanesh become slaves to his slightest whim. Slaanesh can assume male, female, or hermaphrodite forms at will, though he mostly manifests himself as a young man, clean-limbed and fresh with the vigor of youth. Slaanesh is seductive, as only an immortal can be, disarming in his innocence, utterly beguiling in his manner. The sensual pleasures of art, music, and companionship fascinate Slaanesh, and he is drawn to mortals possessed of physical beauty and charm. Unlike the other gods, Slaanesh goes out of his way to court the affections of mortals, seeking to ensnare their souls in his web of excess. As such, his palace of pleasure is not home solely to demons and damned souls. It also entertains those mortals Slaanesh wishes to tempt. Though Khorne is the only god with an open dislike of Slaanesh, both Nurgle and Tzeentch are uneasy in his presence. This is due, in part, to the fact that all the Chaos Gods embody Slaanesh's drive for excess. Khorne with his rage, Tzeentch with his schemes, and Nurgle with his love of pestilence. Lurking deep within the psyche of each of Slaanesh's brother gods is the suspicion that the influence of the dark god is steadily gaining in strength, and that Slaanesh will perhaps one day eclipse them all. Pixel Cutter that the one thing you wanted to hear about was not in this PDF. So what we're going to do next time is we're going to look at the 7th edition book. This is the 8th edition, because it is complete. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too spooky. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.